then we can't lie to ourselves and say, oh, this has no reflection on the Black community because Will Smith took it someplace else. If it was going to be a moment of Black excellence, something that we were going to be like, oh man, this is a great moment, then we've got to be able to say, Will, you stupid son of a, like, you stupid, like, you did something dumb as hell. We got to be able to acknowledge that he ruined what was supposed to be such a good moment, what was supposed to be such a positive moment, and such a moment that, like, that as a community we were going to be like, okay, yeah, this is a moment of Black excellence, and he turned it into something else. And so I get where people are saying, like, this whole respectability, but like, I'm not the person who says we need to be doing anything. Well, what do white people think? I'm not saying we do that. I'm saying if this is a moment, like, there are times when we look at at the actions and the behaviors of people within the Black community and we feel good about them. This is a time where we have to look at the actions of this Black man and say, like, you let us down. He let us down. He let us down because he was supposed to be better than that. He was supposed to be a better man than doing something so trifling. He put himself in that. He painted himself. He spent years building up his image as him being a better man than that, and he proved that he wasn't. Um, so let me know if you disagree. Let me know if you disagree, because like I said, I see the point where people are saying, oh, like, not to be on this level of, oh, what do white people think? Yeah, I get that 1,000%, and that's not what I'm trying to say. Um, well, after you have an Oscar So White campaign, and then it happens, it makes you wonder. uh, no, it doesn't. But every time a few Black people on some BS, everyone uses that to judge and generalize and paint the board. And so this is what I'm saying, because I will criticize Candace Owens when she's talking nonsense about black men, black women, Black culture. When she makes stupid statements like, "Oh, Black culture is just so horrible," when Rob Smith and Brandon Tatum are doing this stuff, like, I get mad, I get angry. When when Hollywood decides they're gonna take a Black actor who's like an amazing actor and then cast him as Thug number two, like, what? Like, and like, oh yeah, so you be Thug number two, you be Thug, like, dude's like, I'm a Shakespearean trained actor, and you've got me playing Thug number three. Like, so when Hollywood is doing this, they're painting an image. So if we're going to acknowledge that Hollywood, using fictional portrayals, can paint Black people in a bad light, I mean, a non-fictional portrayal, an actual real life portrayal of a Black man, like, you really, and it wasn't even something that was. It's not like he did something that was warranted. He did something completely out of pocket. Some completely out of pocket. Jay, I'm a Black man. I think it's definitely embarrassing for the Black community. You can't take, well, Chris Rock is a real man, for, because if Chris Rock had fought back, oh, that would have looked so ugly. That would have looked so ugly. That would have looked so ugly. He didn't think at all. He just reacted. That was a long walk. That was a long walk from up in his chair to him walking all the way to Chris Rock. That was a long walk. um, he gave white people, and like I said, there's some people who hate Black people anyway. So they'll, like, you've got your Andy Knows, who like, he'll find something of some dudes with a pit bull, and he'll put that on, like, that's something he literally did over the weekend or something. Um, like, like, this scumbag literally scours the internet for anything he can find, any video, any skit, anything that makes Black people look bad. He'll scour the internet for, and then post it on his page. Yeah, you've got scumbags like that. Screw him. there are people that just don't have interaction with black people, and so I'm less worried about what they think in terms of gaining their approval, but it concerns me as into how they will react to black people, in particular, how they will react to young black men. Like I'm worried about these young cats out there. So if you've got people that have no regular contact with black people, and these these images are allowed, this perspective is allowed to persist in their mind, it changes the way they will interact with these young men. And I fear for the safety uh, of young black men out there, because especially them, because they're the ones that will be looked at as the threats. 14, 15, 16-year old. And they'll be like, oh, like you'll have, like, I'll see these kids. They'll be out here running and they're playing and they're tussling with they're kids. They're kids. That's what kids do. But when it's young black boys doing this, it's like, oh no, like people will react a whole different way, and I worry for them. Like I'm worried because people will react a whole different way, and now all of a sudden it's like oh no, like women that's holding their purses. Other people's like, oh, what are they gonna do? Oh, they're a gang. No, they're kids. They're playing. They just finished school. They're hanging out and playing with each other. Jostling, wrestling, whatever, before they go home. That's it. They're kids. But unfortunately, because of the a lot of lies that have been told about black people and black young men in particular, like they don't have the luxury of actually being kids. I don't know what type of arrangement Will and Jada have, but all I know is Will is on the rough end. Yep, it's not looking good for Will. Will ain't gonna be anywhere without security. I hear you. I hear you. Well, I heard Tom called him out. Tom, because Tom, I don't know who Tom is. Oh, Tom Cruise. Okay, it's too early to say his career is over though. I don't say. I say his career has changed. It has his, and I don't think he's ready for where his career is right now. I don't think he's ready for what, like, he's in a completely different arena now. There were things he could do before as the good guy. He's not the good guy anymore. The Oscar would have driven sales of King Richard movie, but now no one, like, yeah, he really did a huge disservice. Like, this was supposed to be the biggest night of his professional career. I mean, he let so many people down, including himself. Including himself. Do you think Chris should sue Will? I think Chris might. I think Chris might, and and especially with the way he's acting, with the way he's acting, Chris might be like, okay, because like that apology. Like I said, I don't even think he wrote that apology, because he never said he was sorry to Chris. There's an apology printed on his Instagram. We don't know who wrote that. I'm guessing my theory. Some social media intern wrote that. Some social media intern that's works for his publicist wrote that. That's my theory. My theory is he hasn't even read that apology. That's my theory, and I'm willing to bet that just based on how, like because Tony Rock said that's insufficient. Like if you know Hollywood, like if you know anybody that has a team, social media team, anybody like in politics, in public view, you've got people that handle your social media for you. Like nobody right now, like there's very few that are thinking Will Smith actually wrote that himself. Like no. So that in itself, that lack of consideration is like a second slap in the face, a third slap. Because this first slap, the slap when he doesn't apologize during the acceptance speech, and then the slap of that written prepared statement that he probably hasn't even read. So with that kind of inconsideration, I think Chris might sue. So many morons think all black women are nothing but, yeah, yeah. And this is the image that people want to portray of us. And so like I said, I don't care in terms of whether people like us or not. I care in terms of the safety of young black men and women out there, because I see it so many times where like the first thing people are doing is, oh, like they're a threat, and I'm like, what are you talking about? Like I said, when I used to work in retail, and first thing that a couple of young black dudes walk in, oh, watch them. Like, I'm not watching them, just they're not doing nothing. Like, no, I'm not watching them. They're not bothering anybody. But that white dude that's been in the back, that's been by the Red Bulls for 20 minutes, that's the dude you should be watching. Yes, it was a long walk, but when someone is angry, their mind is clouded and on one thing, and that's reacting to what made them angry. Do you see what happens when he after he smacks him? He turns around and he has a smirk on his face. Like I said, people have been watching this over and over again, and I'm telling you, the more people watch it, the more they realize, whoa, this ain't right. The more people watch it, the more they realize. And Chris being just completely like Chris, like Chris just was confused, but like Chris's behavior makes him look even worse because Chris is putting up no resistance, no belligerence whatsoever. Chris is completely apologetic, like listen, like Chris's behavior makes it look so much worse because Chris is just like I don't even understand what this is about. Like, okay, listen, I won't say nothing else about it. Like I'm done. Like, no, I so he looks so much worse. And he did several things that night that made it look even worse.
Thank you for checking out this clip of Escaping the Echo Chamber. If you would like to check out the entire live stream, you can click on the screen now, or you can click on the link in the description box below. I'll see you next time.